Yo, what up? This is Jeremy Sports Network coming to you live, man. I'm sorry to keep everybody waiting, but I was just on the phone with my boy, Junior from TBV family. You know what I'm saying? We was just discussing the fight and what it is that we saw, both giving our reactions, our immediate reactions to what it is we just saw. Andre Ward defeats Sergey Kovalev by stoppage. It Hands down, this had to be Andre Ward's best performance, best fight of his career, hands down, period, point blank. Andre Ward did exactly what I said Andre Ward was going to do. And if you don't believe me, you see at the top of the screen. Go to Jeremy Sports Network on Facebook, on Twitter, and you will see definitely for yourself everything it is that I said Andre Ward was going to do in this fight. I said that Andre was going to control the distance. He did exactly that. I said that Andre was going to pressure Kovalev and work the body. He did just that. And to me, hands down, there's nobody that Andre should be afraid of at all, period. Nobody. Because Andre did exactly what Andre was supposed to do. And this is what I love about Andre Ward and what Andre did differently in this fight than he did in the last fight. That whole that everything that took place in that first fight with Andre Ward versus Sergey Kovalev, Andre was learning Sergey in the first 6 rounds of fight 1. He was learning Sergey. He was learning how Sergey operates, how he moves, what's his tendencies, what he does good, what he doesn't do good. That's why a lot of fight fans don't understand. Andre took in everything in the first 6 rounds, and he was learning all of this on the fly because this was the first match. And so I knew Andre, being the type of guy he is and the type of fighter he is, that Andre was going to have easy work of Sergey Kovalev in the second fight because, one, he knew all of Sergey's tendencies. He knew what Sergey liked, what he didn't like, and he knew how he made Sergey get gas in the first fight. So he turned around in the second fight and gave us a miraculous performance. It was almost like Floyd didn't get the knockout or get the stoppage on Marcos Chino Maidana when they fought the second time, right? But when they fought the first time, the first 6 rounds, Chino Maidana was winning. And Floyd was learning everything about Chino Maidana in those first 6 rounds. And then we saw after that, or the first 5 rounds, and we saw after that, Floyd just pretty much dominated at the end of the fight, which gave him the victory. And then in fight 2, when they fought the second time around, we saw what we saw what Floyd did, and he just made it look like easy work against Marcos Maidana in the second fight. And that was the same thing Andre Ward did to Sergey Kovalev in this fight alone. And to me, hands down, it was awesome. I couldn't help but be blessed on the night. And then we had Guillermo Rigondeaux he was basically making easy work of Flores, right? But then Flores turns around at the end of the round. He's in the middle of throwing his combination. He misses his shot, but Rigondeaux's shot lands, and then they want to say, "Oh, well, Rigondeaux's shot landed at the end of the bell, and so he shouldn't win the fight." That's what the referee was saying, right? But how can the referee turn around and sit here and give? And you really seen tonight, HBO dropped the bomb. They dropped the bomb with the refereeing, and they dropped the bomb with their support of what they had for Sergey Kovalev. For one, starting with Harold Letterman, his scorecard. Kovalev, this man had Andre Ward losing badly, as if Andre Ward was being dominated by Sergey Kovalev. But Sergey was not landing any shots at all on Andre Ward. Sergey was landing at a 24% ratio, but they still had Sergey Kovalev dominate in the fight. I don't understand that. Anytime Andre Ward threw shots, you had Sergey Kovalev being praised. Andre Ward throwing shots, right? They don't say anything to Andre Ward at all, period. They don't say nothing to Andre Ward. But then they turn around and say everything good for Sergey Kovalev. But one thing they can't do is fight for Sergey. And tonight, we saw Rigondeaux get the victory. We saw Andre Ward get the victory. And you can't just, you can only be satisfied with what it is that you got as a fight fan. You can't help but be satisfied. And I just want to go over a few things. Round one was a beautiful round, because that round kind of pretty much determined what we was going to get from Sergey Kovalev. And this is what a lot of people miss. If you watch boxing, and if you watch enough boxing, you can tell what it is that a lot of fighters are going to do in the midst of the first few rounds, because they show their hand. And Sergey Kovalev is the type of fighter, Sergey can't fight past 5 rounds. Let's just be real. Who have Sergey Kovalev fought past 5 rounds and really look good, besides fighting Andre Ward in the first fight that went 12 rounds, but Sergey didn't do anything after 5 rounds. That's why Andre Ward was able to come back and win after the knockdown he took from Sergey. But Sergey, going back to talk about the first round, Sergey tendencies are, I'm going to touch you with the left hand, with the left jab. I'm gonna touch you with it, and then I'm gonna come with straight down the pipe with a straight right hand. Touch you with the jab 1 or 2 times, and then come with a straight right hand. That was Sergey. That was it for Sergey. That's all he had in his arsenal. That's all he had. That's all he had. He will feint with the left hand and come straight down the pipe with the right hand. That's all Sergey had. And to me, it was easy for Ward. Control the distance, right? Like I said, Andre Ward was going to control the distance. He did just that. He controlled the distance. And when he controlled the, because Andre was able to that tree down by working the body. And when he worked the body, he left from the body and went to the head. This was a magnificent performance for Sergey Kovalev. That's what Harold Letterman would say. It was a magnificent performance for Sergey Kovalev. Jim Lampley. It was a magnificent performance for Sergey Kovalev. I don't see why they stopped the fight so early. They forget that Sergey turned his back on Andre twice. Twice. Complaining about low blows. Are you serious? When shots was landing, even you can look via replay, shots were landing on the belt line. On the belt line. And I just, it's like that really upset me in boxing. When you have a television network, an HBO, because I'm going to talk about this, and I'm going to call these people out. I mean, a lot of people won't call these people out because they may be afraid or whatever the case may be. But me, I really could care less. I'm just going to speak truth and speak my mind and speak my heart, what's on my heart. And what's on my heart is I don't appreciate HBO with what it is that they give us. These commentators, Jim Lampley. Jim Lampley has been covering boxing for a long time. But I feel as though Jim Lampley can sometimes allow his himself as a fan to get in the way of him being an actual analyst. Things that he were calling out tonight was very false. He's sitting there praising Sergey Kovalev in the midst of Andre Ward, who was dominating him. And sometimes Roy Jones, like I said, Roy Jones, to me, he does a great job with covering boxing. Does a wonderful job. Wonderful job. And with Roy, I sometimes it makes me upset because I feel, Roy has to sometimes take a back seat a little bit because of Jim Lampley and Max Kellerman, who they have, in the forefront majority of the time. What I like about Roy is that Roy is going to tell the truth, and tonight he was telling the truth. He was giving Andre the credit that Andre deserved in the midst of Jim Lampley giving everything to Sergey Kovalev. Like, neither one of them said at all that they didn't agree with Harold Letterman's scorecard. When Harold had Sergey, this was like after the first 5 rounds. Harold Letterman had Sergey winning a fight, like Andre only having 1 round, and Sergey got like 4 or 5. And then I'm like, are you serious? Like, HBO is not going to say anything about that? They're not going to say nothing? Like, Jim Lampley is not going to say anything about Harold Letterman's scorecard? But on some fights, you say something about Harold Letterman's scorecard? What you don't agree with and what you agree with? I mean, that's the stuff that don't sit well with me at all, period. Then post-fight, right? Post-fight, we talk about the interviews. But post-fight, you had Andre Ward basically giving a shout out to everybody who helped him get to where he is right now today. And one thing that I appreciate about Andre Ward is the simple fact that Andre is going to keep it real, and Andre is going to tell the truth. And what the truth was that he gave us was, for one, that Sergey is a world champion. He's a world champion, and he fought his way up to the top and did everything it was that he had to do. But in that first fight, you lost. In that second fight, you lost. But what I love about Andre is he brought up that pound for pound list. And this is why another reason why I hate HBO. I was interviewing a fighter by the name of Abel Abadicio, and we was talking, and I posted. In the video, you can watch the video. You will see where I posted the HBO rankings, right, pound for pound, and they had Vasquez Lomachenko on top. Andre Ward was number 4. Sergey Kovalev was number 5. Then they had like something like Terrence Crawford and who else was up there? Terrence Crawford and it was some other fighter. Oh, Gennady Golovkin. So it was like number 1, Vasquez Lomachenko. Number 2, Gennady Golovkin. Number 3 was Andre Ward. Number 4 was Terrence Crawford, and number 5 was Sergey Kovalev. That's exactly what it was. It was that way around, just like that. And to me, I'm sitting here like, how in the hell do you give Vasquez Lomachenko pound for pound the best in the world over Gennady Golovkin? Are you serious? And this is why HBO to me has a problem. HBO has a very bad problem. They had a problem tonight, and they dropped the bomb tonight with Harold Letterman and the disrespect that he gives Andre Ward and Guillermo Rigondeaux. He was actually on TBV. We had Harold Letterman on TBV this past Thursday's show. We had Harold Letterman on the show, and he was sitting there dissing Guillermo Rigondeaux right there live on the show, basically saying he was a boring fighter, and that's why nobody want to fight him. And then turn around and had Andre Ward losing 6 rounds to Sergey Kovalev when Andre Ward was definitely dominating the whole fight, and turns around. How can a fighter in Sergey Kovalev, being a world champion that he is, be dominating the fight for 6 rounds, but he lose to a stoppage from body shots? Tell me how. How does that happen? Obviously, those body shots that he was taking from the early rounds was very much more effective on him. And then when it got into the latter rounds, when he got cracked with that right by Andre Ward, that was the end of the fight. But you never heard anything from Jim Lampley giving Andre Ward any kind of respect at all. All they was doing throughout this whole entire time was praising Sergey Kovalev. Kovalev this, Kovalev. They was HBO. All they did was praise Sergey Kovalev. Nobody gave Andre Ward a opportunity or a chance to even feel as though he was winning throughout this fight, except for Roy Jones Jr. And it's sad that it was like that. It's sad that it was like that. And so, like I said, I have a problem with HBO. I have a problem with Harold Letterman. I have a problem with Jim Lampley. And I also have a problem with Stephen A. Smith from ESPN. I really don't understand how can Stephen A. Smith, first of all, speak boxing, right? The only thing that he knows about boxing is the fact that Max Kellerman is an analyst for HBO. That's it. How can even Stephen A. Smith tell me, oh, well, now I can put Andre Ward on top pound for pound list because of what he did tonight? Andre Ward been on top of the pound for pound list. Ward been on top. And the reason why Ward has been on top, because all Andre Ward do is win. That's all Andre Ward do. He win. He does not lose. He wins. He wins. And we saw tonight, Andre Ward was very successful. And to me, I'm happy. I'm very, very, very intrigued by what it is that I saw from Andre Ward. Very, very intrigued by what I saw for Guillermo Rigondeaux. What's next for Andre Ward? Who knows? I believe Andre may take some time off. He was talking about going to cruiserweight for another title. And then he kind of like threw a little derivative in there saying heavyweight. But we all know Andre ain't going to go to heavyweight. I think Andre may move up to cruiserweight and challenge somebody in the cruiserweight division for a title. Definitely somebody from the UK. It could be Tony Bellew. We don't know. We don't know. I'm just throwing that name out there. But for Andre, like I said, I think he's going to take some time off. Don't give Sergey Kovalev, racist Kovalev, another crack at it, because Kovalev is very disrespectful. His promoter is very disrespectful. And I'm waiting to see the number on Kovalev's pay-per-view and ticket sale, because that was his purse. He was going to make his money through back-end pay-per-views and ticket sales. Andre Ward tonight made $6.5 million. $6.5 million for Andre. And it was like $125K for Rigondeaux. And I think it was about $50K or $25K for Flores. But it was a great night. A great night of boxing. We got a little controversy. We definitely got some disrespect from HBO. And we definitely got some disrespect from Harold Letterman. But it is what it is. Andre Ward is successful. And you can't help but appreciate Andre Ward. And we're really looking forward to what we have next on the list. Adrian Broner versus Mikey Garcia is next on July the 29th. That's going to be a hell of a fight. Can't wait to see that fight and score that fight. I'm definitely going to be going on vacation on next week. But if anything major pops off, I will definitely be going live covering that. Also, tune in June the 20th. Linnell Bellews will be fighting June the 20th live on PBC, I believe. Um, he's a great guy. I mean, great guy. You can check out my interview with Linnell, and you can also check out our interview with Linnell on TBV. So he was a great dude. So tune in, you guys. This is Jeremy Sports Network signing out. Peace.